Hi everyone, I hope you guys are doing really well. So welcome back. In this video we will discuss about using the RoomDB in Compose Multiplatform. So earlier we have covered the SQL Delight, how we can use that in Compose Multiplatform. So now we will be covering the RoomDB, how we can use that. So if you are an Android developer, so you might be aware about the RoomDB, that is an wrapper basically, or abstraction you can say, over the SQLite, right? So earlier in the previous videos I have already covered few other things which you as an Android developer would be liking about the Compose Multiplatform, like sharing the view model and sharing the same navigation from the official library, right? So in this video we will be covering the RoomDB. So because if you are an Android developer, so you will be like, yeah, RoomDB you will be mostly using most of the time, I can assume. Yeah, so let's continue with this. So recently it came as with multi-platform support, so now we can use that in multi-platform as well. Though still few things are missing in this, like we need to do few workarounds. At the time I'm making this video, few things are not like that much smooth. We need to do some kind of workaround for few things. So yeah, but yeah, let's continue with that. Let's hope they will get stable in the future. So for that, first of all, we need to set up few dependencies. I have covered this all those points here in the steps. So this is the first step. We need to add this room runtime library and then SQLite bundle. So this is for drivers, right? This one is for room, right? RoomDB. Then after adding this library, so then the second step is we need to apply the plugins. If you see, we need to apply plugins for room, and then this is the KSP. So KSP will be needing for room annotation processing. So whatever annotations we will be applying in the room, so they, for the processing of them, we need this KSP, right? Because KSP will be converting the annotations to the code, basically we can say. So it will be generating the code from the annotations, right, while compiling the project. Then this third thing is third step is we need to set up this schema directory where the schema of our RoomDB will be created, right? We can specify project root directory and then schemas, right? And then this step 4, right? So for this step 4, basically we need to set up this disable Gradle daemon. So we need to disable the Gradle daemon. So this is basically due to some issue which you can check out on this link. I will be sharing this code on the GitHub and put the link in the description, because if I will be explaining this it will be taking time, so you can just check out this on this ticket, right? Then the fifth step is we need to do setup for KSP, right? So in the dependency section for using the KSP in multi-platform, we need to do this like using the dependency section and then setting up this KSP common main metadata, right? This is for setting up the KSP. So right, so this what we'll be doing is, so this will be setting up the room compiler for this, right, for KSP thing, right? So that KSP thing will be using this room compiler for all that work, like generating the code from the annotations and all other things, right? Then the last step is, this is basically not that urgent step, but now it will be needed because at the time I'm making this video, few things are not working as expected. So for those to work, we need to add these things, right? So first one is like for this step 6, there are two parts. So basically see, so we need to add this source_set.common main, right? This logic here. So this, it will include this build generated KSP metadata directories, because by default they will not be included there in the code, right? So because we need to use the app database class dot this extension method, which will be generated at the build while we'll be building, right? By default it's not available, we need to add this. I will be explaining this wherever we will be adding this, right? In the iOS side it will be required. And then second part will be for the sixth step, this one is also the part of that, so you can check out, like, yeah. So this is all about the setup. So now we will be writing some code for like database and all other things. So first of all, let's add one directory here, app database. Then let's create one file here, app database, right? So this is basically abstract class. So this is basically abstract class, right? And we need to apply database annotations. This is from the room, right? And inside this we need to specify the entities, list of entities, right? And the version. So as of now, let's add this one, and entity we will be adding when we will be adding the entity, right? Okay, and here we can define one abstract function as well, get DAO. So if you need multiple DAOs, you can define them according to the name, but here we will be using the just one DAO. So just I am defining this function. So even before that, let's add few constants. So internal const val, let's say we can name it db file name and app roomdb.db, right? Okay, so now let's first of all add the DAO. So basically before we will be creating all this stuff, let me go through the this app. Basically this is just a simple app I have created, displaying the list of GitHub repos. So we will be just displaying like top few repos for Kotlin, like their like name, stars, descriptions, these things, right? Yeah, so basically it's because we have not specified the entities as of now. So yeah, you can see like these few with few stars, these repos are with the most stars for Kotlin. We are displaying just this. This is simple UI, and then just this is the detail, right? And we are using the simple navigation thing here, like compose navigation things, like remember, nav controller, all other things, right? And this view model, we are sharing all the things in this app, right? Now we will be like adding the DAO, RoomDB as well, right? So let's first of all GitHub repo DAO, right? So basically GitHub repo DAO, what it will be like, defining all the logic. So basically this will define all the logic to interact with the RoomDB, like whatever query we will be writing, so those will be covered in this, right? So and first of all let's add entity as well. Okay, so for defining the entity we can use the entity annotations, but if you will be already using this, so you might be aware about this thing. Then primary key annotations we can use to generate the primary key, and auto generate will be true. It will be automatically handling the like incrementing the ID and all other things, right? Okay, and then name string and stars we can define, and just you can define description. Okay, and now suppose this is the DAO. Similarly, the way we are using the entity annotations, we need to use DAO annotations, right, for defining the DAOs, basically data access object. So this is for everything will be handled as queries, or logic will be like, it will be like a kind of bridge between the room and providing the access to our code, right? So we can define few queries here, like for insert we can use the insert annotations directly and define the suspend functions. Okay, GitHub repo entity. Okay, and then my bad, actually this is an interface, this cannot be class now, right? Because it will be automatically generating all the implementation for this using the annotation processing, right? And similarly for the, if you want to insert the bulk items, we can specify them as well. Okay, We can specify list as well, and we can specify one more thing, and we can specify here as well. But no, if this is just for, let's keep it for insert. But for here, like if something is updated and for the same ID, so like conflict happens, so what will it do? So we can specify it on conflict strategy dot replace, because it will update that one, right? And then for writing simple query, these are the like predefined, it will be internally generating the queries. But for writing the query, we can use the query annotations, right? Select star from this entity. Okay, so it will be generating get all as flow, right? So basically it provides, it's completely compatible with flow. Like yeah, it's had this support for flow. Basically it can provide, like we can continuously observe the data changes. Like if we are using this function, so it will be like every time data will be updating related to this, it will be like retriggering, right? We can collect it, so every time it will be retriggering, re-emitting the data, right? And then want to use flow, we can directly just use simple query as well. Okay, and similarly we can define it for count as well, right? Select count. These are simple queries, SQL queries. If you know a little bit about SQL, they are like simple ones. Count let's make this function as well suspend, and this one as well suspend. So entity and DAOs are defined. We can come back to this and define the entity classes here. Okay, and then inside this DAO we can specify this return type, right? Okay, and one more workaround. This should not the workaround, actually this is like one important thing. You need to extend this class for your app database, right? Room database, that is the basic class, right? That is the base class for all room databases, right? All classes should be annotated with this database annotation and extend this database class, right? And one more thing, so basically we will be facing one more issue in the Android side. For that we already have one workaround. We need to define one interface basically, and there we need to add this method, and then we need to extend this and override that method. This one is also trick for one workaround. Otherwise you might be facing one issue like class app database IMPL is not abstract and does not implement abstract base class member this method, right? That kind of thing will be happening there. So this is a workaround for that. This is it. And now so now this DAO database entity, right? These classes are done. Now the main logic is we need to define one Devi factory. That will be the expect actuals logic, right? That is the expect class, and it has one method create database that will be of app type app database, right? Now we need to define it in all others like Android main, iOS main, other source sets, right? So let's continue with that. App database, and then this one, Oops, it had copied this. We need to copy this one. Let's control that first. Okay, so now it will be the actual implementation, and here we will be adding one context basically that will be needed for this RoomDB, right? And here we will be providing the implementation for that, right? So for that, first of all, let's define one DB file, that is the path basically, get database path, and that is for DB file name. This method, so it provides the absolute path to the given database, right? You can see to this file it will provide that absolute path to the database, right, with this file name. Okay, fine. So now next thing is, so what we will be doing is room.database builder, and let's specify its type, that is the generic one, and then it will be accepting two parameters, context and db file dot its path, right? And then let's set drivers, that will be the bundled SQLite driver, which the separate package we added for this. And then we can specify the query code in context, so that will be the like dispatchers IO, right, from on which dispatcher we need to run the query, right? Of course that will be the IO. Okay, then this build. Okay, let's add the actual annotation. So this is for the Android one, right? Now let's just copy this and let's add it for iOS. Few things will be different for iOS. We don't need this. This will be removed. And then this DB file again. On iOS we will be using the ns home directory for getting the home directory and then adding this DB file path, right? So here it will not be accepting this, and so it will be expecting this path here, right? And then second thing we will be factory, because it will not work according to the context. For the Android side it will automatically generate the implementation and all other things using the context and getting the path from there, right? But for iOS side, file system is a little bit different. We need to specify factory, right, for implementation, how it will be like generating the implementation, right? And here that point comes in for this basically, which I am going to write now. Instantiate what was that, IMPL. Okay, this method, this is an extension it will be generating when we will be building the app, right? And this will not be available by default. For this to work we need to add these workaround, like step 6 if you remember. Yeah, step 6 part 1 and then step 6 part 2, right? So here it will be providing the factory, like how it will be providing the implementation of this, right? And then all other things will be similar, dispatcher IO and then build, right? Cool. And now let's import. So dot this thing I will be explaining how we added this, because how I know like this will be at this path, right? So after the build I will be showing you that thing. So this one is this, and now let's move on to the desktop side. So this thing is only the creating database. This is the only code which we require to implement for platform specific codes, right? And that is due to the file system differences, right? Because there are file system differences. between all platforms. Okay, so for this again we don't need this, and again we don't need this. So here we will be using the file, what was that, I think it is the file, and we will be system dot get property, not properties, it's property. And which one? So they have recommended this one, java.io tmp dir. We can use this directory, right? This will be the DB file again, and it will be just accepting the one thing, right? That is the path, absolute path. And again these things will be similar, and yeah, that's it. The implementation part is done here, right? So if I try to build it, oops, this will be the int, my bad, because this will be just returning the count. I think some issues there with build, it's taking longer. Okay, we will be checking it like once we'll be trying to run the app. Let's see then how it goes. Okay, but actually because I tried the build process, but that was taking longer. So now if I go here, not this one but this one, if you see generated, then KSP and metadata, right? Here you can see this implementation, this one, this is the package for that, and this one is that method which we are trying to use, right here. So this one, that's why I imported this like this. Okay, let's just cross check it, it is same, yeah. Okay, so let's check it later when we will be trying to run the app, right? So now let's finish the remaining things. So now let's open the repository, and so now what we need to do is we need DAO here, GitHub repo DAO. We will be getting that as a dependency. Okay, so now currently we are just returning the result. Suppose this one is the API, right? So we will be returning this as it is, right? So now what we'll be doing is, so first of all we will be checking here now. So let's first of all check the count. Okay, so DAO dot get, not get, it's count. Okay, so it will be providing the result of count of results, right? So if count is greater than 0, right, it means the records are available, else we can go with the API thing, right? So here even we can add the from API, and here we can add the from DB. Okay, so in this case when we are getting it from the API, so first of all let's finish this one. So in this case, if database have some records, so we can get all dot, we can map them, and because we are just returning them as the GitHub repo type, so we can map them it dot id flow of this. Yeah, so we can do one thing here. Again the flow builder. Okay, because we are using the flow, so we can use the flow builder and emit this one is the list of GitHub repo, right? from the entity we need to convert it to the GitHub repo. That is our data class which we are using, right? So that's why I need this transformation, right? So now in this case, from the API case, what we need to do is, so what we will be doing is, let's say first of all let's get these records. Okay, so now what we need to do, so we just need to install. So basically here we will be assuming it is loading from the API. So let's add 2 seconds delay here, right? API simulation, right? We are assuming that the API is calling here and results are returning, right? So then what we need to do is, for these results, what we need to do is DAO dot insert results. Okay, so this one is for list of GitHub repo results dot map. We need to map here, so like this we need to map here to the entity, because that will be accepting the list of entities. From the API you will be returning this kind of data, this kind of data. Then to save them in the DB we need to convert them to the entities, right? And then finally what we will be doing is, this will be just saving the results in the records, DB, and meanwhile we will be returning the results as it is from here, right? So yeah, this one is that. So now let's go to the view model, and here we can see it's already collecting the data from the repo, so we don't need to do anything here. And here we are observing them. Here we need to do one thing, right? So for the database instance, it will be requiring DAO. For that we need database instance, right? So for that what we need to do is, we need to pass that here from the platform specific files, right? Because it may require context and other things, right? That's why we need to do from the platform side create database. Okay, and here what we need to do is application context, and here let's pass that DB, and here let's do accept that. Okay, and let's here pass that DAO, right? That's it. Now let's pass them from the desktop and iOS side as well. So again DB factory create DB, and let's pass that DB. Ideally we pass them using the dependency injection, right? So we pass them using dependency injection, but for the sake of this video I'm doing that directly, right? Now let's get that done from iOS side. Okay, don't need this. Let's, alright, so now let's go to the app. Okay, alright, so now let's check it and let's try to run it. So basically this is just simple UI, you can check out it, not that tough, like just using the lazy column and displaying the list, and then using this nav host controller for 2 screens, right? That kind of stuff, right? You can check out all these things in my previous video. I have already covered these kind of things there, like using the navigation and view models, right? So now what we can do is, let's try to run it. Let's check it for Android. You can see first it was showing the loader because it's fetching from the API, right? And if I try to rerun it, you will see from API, right? From DB, second time it's from DB, you can see. So now it's not getting the records from the API, it's getting from the DB. You will see there will be no loader because there is no delay. You can see there is no loader, right? So it's working fine for Android. And now let's check it for iOS if it works. You can see loader was there, and in the logs you can see it's from API. So now if I try to close it and open it again, you can see there is no loader, right? So it's from DB, right? That's pretty fine. It's working fine on iOS side as well. So this sometime it shows reference not, right, unknown unresolved reference, but it works. This happens sometimes. Okay, but now let's try to run it for desktop. Escalate exception. Okay. Yeah, oops, my bad. So here we need to do the DB file name. That's why path was not generating the correctly. Let's check it again. Okay, this issue happened to me earlier as well. So basically for the one of another app, my database name was the same. So not sure how this issue is happening, but maybe what we can do is let's go to this and maybe name it some different, and now let's try to run it. Okay, yeah, cool. You can see first time loader was there, and now if we try to run it again, so you can see from DB. From now second time it's from DB. There is no API involved, so it's saving that perfectly in the DB, right? So you can see it's working perfectly. So that error which I got, that was due to maybe some cache or other things, due to the maybe earlier for some other app also the DB name was same, so maybe some cache issue was there. So yeah guys, that's it all about this, how we can use the RoomDB with the Kotlin Multiplatform. So one more thing, so this is I covered with the Compose Multiplatform, but if you will be writing the native UI, how we can do that? So there will not be anything different. Until here everything will be same, right? So this view models, up to view model part, everything will be same, but now here you are using this view model inside this common UI, right? But if you are using this different UIs for Android and iOS, then you will be using this view model in the Android side Jetpack Compose, and in the iOS side in the Swift UI. So rest of the things will be working the same, so you don't need to do any special kind of setup. And instead of this Compose app, you need to set up all this dependency inside the shared module then, right? Because this is the Compose module, Compose UI module. But if we don't share the UI, then there will be the shared module. That's where we can write the shared libraries and all other things, shared dependencies and all other things, right? So that's all about, guys. I hope you have got the idea how we can use the RoomDB. So in the last couple of videos I have covered three things. So first one was the navigation. So if you are an Android developer, so you might be checking out these videos, so because they are like similar, the way we are doing these things in the Android side, similarly we are doing in the Compose Multiplatform as well. So like the navigation thing, it's similar now, it's officially supported, and the view model thing, that is also supported now officially, and this RoomDB, that also has the multi-platform support. So now you can try out using these same libraries which you are using in the Android side. So you might be thinking of like, now you should try to migrate your Android iOS to the multi-platform, I guess. So that's a like perfect time, right? So one more thing, currently at the moment I'm making this video, this RoomDB does not have support for the WASM. I have disabled that as of now, so it's working fine for Android, iOS and desktop main. So that's all it, guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, please like, share and subscribe. And if you like the video, please like, share and comment. And if you are new, please consider subscribing. So I will be coming up with another cool content with the another videos. So yeah, and one more thing, if you would like to if you want like I should like make full app in the Compose Multiplatform, then please leave in the comments. Like if I will be getting some comments on these last 3 videos, I will be creating a full Compose Multiplatform app as well, right? So that's it all about guys. So now I will be seeing you in the upcoming video. Till then, bye bye, take care, have a great time, keep coding.